All right, welcome to a brand new week and a brand new CFO Swinger Watch. I hope you guys read throughout the whole document that I sent you guys before you guys watch this video. Okay, so let's go over the markets. So last week, SPY just completely shrugged off very disappointing jobs numbers, and instead it just continued to grind up higher. Now, as I mentioned already, I was expecting some type of a consolidation phase, but it seems like this little area here, this consists of around 3 weeks or so. This was the consolidation that I was searching for. And so we actually made a double bottom on the daily chart or even the hourly charts if you guys want to see it more clearly. And we start to just grind up higher and higher and higher with a lot of strength. Okay. And so the market is finally back on an uptrend. We are seeing an actual definitive trend now. So let's take a look at the levels here. All right. So let's go down to the 2 hour time frame like we do as always. Okay. And so on Friday, on the 2 hour time frame here, we kind of ended up with a doji candle. All right. And with doji candles, they are very, very, it's indicative of a very indecisive market close here. Okay. And so the reason why we have that is that we ended up right near all-time high levels. Okay, and we're also at a previous level of all-time high levels, around 422.80ish. Okay, so this is our major resistance from now on. Okay, so on Monday, if we do indeed see a gap up, okay, we will most likely come back down in the early morning. Okay, after market open, obviously, and we will possibly retest this level of resistance and maybe even bounce and making it into a new support. Okay, so right now there's some very key levels that I'm watching. Okay, so this green line right here, this will be our major area of support, so around $417. Okay, so if you ever start heading back down, I will most likely see a bounce around this $417 level. Okay, and in the short term, okay, 420 is going to be another area, a significant area of support as well. Okay, so if we stop trying to go past this all-time high level around 422.80ish, we can possibly see another rejection around this area, and we can start heading lower again. Okay, so the high probability of us just dumping is kind of low here because of the fact that we're now in an uptrend now, definitive uptrend. Okay, but if we do indeed see immediate rejection around all-time high levels, I will expect the price to come back down around the 420 areas, maybe even the 418 to 419 areas as well. Okay, and if that happens, well, I'm not going to be scared. Okay, I will most likely expect the price to start going sideways once again. Okay, so if that happens, that's great. Okay, because we can start coiling tighter and tighter and tighter. Okay, and the more we coil, okay, the better a breakout will be. All right. So with SPY like that, with the overall markets like that, let's take a look at the tech sector. Okay. So in the tech sector, we're nowhere near the previous all-time high levels. All right. We're a few points behind. All right. So the all-time high levels are around $342.80. Okay. So on Friday, though, okay, I found it interesting that with tech bouncing back so strongly, and we have enough volume on Friday to back that up, okay, we can most likely see tech coming back to all-time high levels as well. Okay, now I would imagine that tech will have a lot more of a problem trying to get past its previous all-time high level, which is fine. Okay, because as you guys know, there's a lot of people. There's a lot of big money rotating. Okay, towards more of the economic recovery names, right? As they're taking profits in technology names, because technology names was a huge hit in 2020 and still is in 2021. All right, so that's what you guys should be watching for. QQQ and SPY. Okay, you guys can watch it side by side. Okay, if you guys want to, but I would definitely be watching SPY levels. Okay, because there can be some nice opportunities for you to trade. All right, let's take a look at some names here. All right, so Apple. Okay, so Apple was in last week's watch list. All right, and Apple was at a very precarious situation here, okay? Because the 200 SMA, okay, on the daily time frame has caught up, okay? It's usually very far away from the candlesticks, okay? And that's very, very good, especially if we are above the 200 SMA, okay, and we are in a strong uptrend. Now, the reason why we were in a precarious situation last week is that we closed below the 200 SMA, and whenever we see that in the long term, okay, we can highly conclude that Apple can see a long-term decline in price. But on Friday, okay, we saw some very, very strong price action, even though we didn't see the volume. Okay, even though I would probably would have liked to see more volume behind this strong price action. Okay, we went right back up above the 200 SMA. We bounced right on top of it. Okay, and then we ended up above around nearly 126. Okay, so now if you take a look at the weekly time frame here, okay, we've held this trend line that I've been talking about since last week. Okay, so this is a trend line where the price will pivot. Okay, but I have to remind you guys, we're still looking at a bearish chart pattern. All right, we have a nice head and shoulders pattern. It's a bearish chart pattern. All right, so if we break this neckline of this head and shoulders pattern, we can most likely start heading lower and come back down towards the $116 area or even below. Okay, but Friday's action has told me, right, and this weekly time frame candlestick is also telling me that we can most likely see a movement to the upside. Okay, so some of the levels that you guys need to be watching for, okay, let me look at the 2 hour time frame here, okay, is around $128, okay, and then $131, okay, and for support, okay, for any price that's below those two numbers that I gave you, those two price levels, I need you guys to look at $124, okay, because right here is a converging point, $124, okay, where the trend line needs to be held, right? This ascending support trend line, and on the 2 hour time frame here. Okay, so this $124 level is very, very important. If we break this $124 level with volume, with a lot of selling volume, we can see a complete loss of the daily 200 SMA, and we can start heading lower and lower and lower. Okay, but I am highly, confident that with SPY moving in such a strong way, Apple will tend to follow. Okay, so if I see some weak action on Monday, all right, then I would need to change my plans. But so far, the market is looking strong, and Apple is looking to have a strong move as well. All right, so next one, Zoom. Let me get this out of the way. All right, so on the daily time frame, okay, the reason why I chose this, first of all, is that when I read the earnings, okay, uh, it was showing very good earnings, and I've given you guys the reasons why. And so if you guys haven't read that yet, please go back. Okay, so on the daily time frame, all right, right now it seems like I have a lot of levels, okay, but these are all critical levels here. Okay, so on the daily time frame, we're seeing a nice big flag. Okay, so this is the big flagpole. This is the very impulsive move up. Okay, this is our flagpole. And then we have a huge flag forming here in the form of a descending channel or even a descending wedge. Okay, so or falling wedge. Okay, there's synonymous words there. Okay, and so this tends to be a very bullish chart pattern, right? And so I can most likely expect, okay, so even though if Zoom is below the 200 daily SMA, I can most likely expect the price to come back above the 200 SMA if we break out of this falling wedge pattern. Okay, so there's a very important level here. Okay, so around $340 or around an area of 338.55 to $340. Okay, that's where this descending level or trend line of resistance is converging at that level, okay, or that area. All right, so if we break above that converging point there, okay, with enough buying volume, and on Friday we did see a lot of buying volume. Okay, we can most likely start heading up higher and higher until we're right back above the 200 SMA, and that will officially put Zoom on another long-term uptrend move. All right, so this looks very, very good for Zoom so far. All right, so now a critical area of support, okay, is around $314 to $315. All right. So if Zoom completely loses this area, okay, you will need to get out of your long positions. Okay, but obviously, please choose a stop loss accordingly to your entry level. All right. And so if you break this level of support, we can most likely head back down and touch the descending level of support here, the support trend line here. Okay. And most likely bounce again until we are starting to make another tight price range again. Okay. And so if that happens, we will have to wait until we see a breakout of either upside or to the downside. All right. So you got to be very patient with this name. Next one is Etsy. Okay, so Etsy hasn't been participating too much in the tech bounce. As you guys can see, okay, on Wednesday we did have a very strong day, but we erased those that 1 day gain with 2 days in just 2 days. Okay, and on Friday, okay, we just kept on going lower and lower and lower, and we couldn't sustain what we had gained on Wednesday. All right, so now if QQQ, okay, if the tech sector starts to rebound even stronger on this week, okay, we can also see Etsy bouncing as well. But so far, this looks like a great shorting opportunity. Okay, so if Etsy breaks below this $162 level here, okay, we will most likely have an impulsive move to the downside, or even we can have a gap down on Monday. Who knows, right? And so we can have another big gap down overnight. All right. So just be prepared for whatever might come to you. Okay. So it's always better to be prepared than to be surprised. All right. So with Etsy, we've just been consolidating up and down, and the price has been trying so hard to get back above this 200 SMA level. But now, as you guys probably know and read, there is some bad news for Etsy, okay, fundamental wise, okay, and as a whole company, okay. So Etsy can move lower and lower and lower, right, before it can start heading back towards an uptrend, okay, because we have a confirmation of a downtrend now after it broke out of the symmetrical triangle or wedge to the downside with enough volume as well. Okay, and then that earnings reaction was really bad as well. Okay, so we might see another impulsive move to the downside. Who knows, right? But this is just looking like a very nice short term move to the downside. All right. Okay. So that's it for the stock picks here. All right. Now let's go over crypto. Okay. So there's a coin that I'm looking at, and you guys probably all know this already. It's Dogecoin. Okay. So Dogecoin, all right, I'm currently in this around 0.31 to 0.32 cents, around there. It's between there. Okay. And so now let me do an actual live technical analysis here for you guys. Okay, so for me, it's now it's bread and butter to me now. Okay, if I see a level, okay, I will draw it out. Okay, so you guys have to get to this stage where you should be able to see and observe and draw out levels. All right, just with the naked eye. All right, and so Dogecoin here, all right, it's forming, in some ways, it's forming a partially bearish chart pattern here, just like we saw in Apple. Okay, we're seeing a head and shoulders pattern here. Okay, we have the shoulder here, we have the head here, and then we have another shoulder here. So we have the two shoulders here, the left one and the right one, and this big head right here. Okay, and so we did see some great news for Dogecoin here, as Dogecoin has now been listed on the big crypto platform Coinbase. All right, and as more and more big exchanges start to list Dogecoin, I believe we can see a lot more buying going to this name. Okay, so this was initial reaction, okay, to some good news of Dogecoin, and to the fact that on a technical scale, okay, on technical wise here, Dogecoin has been just getting tighter and tighter with this price range. All right, and as we kept on selling off, this created something called seller exhaustion. Okay, where sellers are completely exhausted with selling. All right, and shorters have been taking profits. All right, and so this is where the buyers now come in, a huge wave of buying, and they just completely defend a critical area of support around 0.30. Okay, so once I saw that happening, okay, I got it on this second candlestick here. All right, so around 0.32. All right, so I always look for confirmation, and you guys should do as well. All right. So, right now, if I go on the 2 hour time frame here, okay, it seems like we're making some type of a very, very weak flag. Okay. So whenever I see price acting like this, all right. So right now we're forming a little tiny flag here. Okay. This is just a weird flag here, like this. Okay, it's getting very tight right now. So right now we can either break out to the upside or to the downside. But when a flag is forming like this and the price is consolidating near the flag support here, I do not like to see that. Okay, because we can potentially break down to the downside, which will completely negate this bull flag here. Okay, but hopefully, since I am long, let's see if we can go right back to a critical level of resistance around 0.45 cents or 0.44 cents. Okay, so that area is a very critical area, and it has shown us again about a week ago that that was a critical area of resistance, and that there are still sellers still present from this initial sell-off here. Okay, so if you guys see the monumental amounts of volume here during the sell-off here, okay, right here, if you guys see the volume right here, okay, it's coinciding, okay, to this level of resistance, okay, and this level of resistance was also a level of resistance previously as well during the initial takeoff and explosion of Dogecoin. All right, so we have a lot of sellers here. Okay, so if you're able to break above 0.44 or 0.45, okay, we can most likely come back to the all-time high levels around 0.74, okay, or 0.73. All right, so that is my coin pick for this week. Great cryptocurrency. All right. So good luck to you all, and I'll see you guys next week.